And this was the system that helped me get through the really intense engineering course at Oxford, while also building a team of 90 students to design, build and test Oxford's first Formula Student car. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my top 5 time management tips. So let's dive right into the tips. My tip number 1 is to have an online calendar to track time commitments and classes. So I personally used Google Calendar for this because I just loved that it was free and it synchronized with my Gmail, but you can use any other calendar you want to. It's really important that it's digital because then even if you lose your notebook or anything else, you still know what kind of time commitment you have and what kind of classes you have. Having an online calendar is really important because then you can visualize what type of activities you have to attend, what type of classes you might have, and it also gives you a sense of reassurance because you don't have to keep all of these dates in your head. You only need to check your calendar to make sure what kind of classes you have, where you have to go, when you have to be there. So it's really, really important that you have an online calendar to take that load off of your mind and make sure you can really focus on the more important things. So my top tip for university students regarding this is at the beginning of the year or semester, make sure you put all of your classes in your calendar along with all of the deadlines that you have for your assignments, if you know that in advance. So for example, in Oxford, I know that I have a deadline every week to submit my tutorial sheets, and that's how I was able to schedule all of that in my calendar at the beginning of the year to make sure that I really knew when I need to submit things and make sure I have enough time to complete all of the things that I need to do, all of these assignments and classes. So another thing that this really helps in is it really helps you visualize when you have free time, how much free time you have, and you can really schedule them in different colors or in different calendars altogether, and it really, really helps you to be able to schedule your day and your week in a way that's most efficient and most optimized for your needs. And that leads me to my tip number 2 is to batch and group similar things. So for example, the engineering department was a 15-minute walk away from my room. If I have 2 classes in the engineering department and there is a 1-hour gap between them, it wouldn't make sense for me to either just stay in the engineering department and do nothing, or walk back 15 minutes and then again walk to the engineering department 15 minutes, because then I only have 30 minutes to do something. So what I usually did was schedule something like a meeting in that 1-hour gap and make sure that with that I batched the similar things and reduced the overhead required to do that task. It was only 30 minutes of overhead, 2 times 15 to walk there and back, instead of many more if I scheduled them only one at a time. So similarly, if you have these kind of gaps, or if you can group things together, that will really help you with the overhead required to do those tasks. And that is so important to save time for you in university. So again, this is where an online calendar really helps, because this is when you can categorize all the things that you have to do and actually schedule them in a place where it most makes sense and it is the most efficient for you, so it reduces the overhead that you have to contribute to that task. So my next tip is to have a really good system for you to be able to organize the things that you need to do. So for me, I had a lot of different things to do that popped up during the day, and I would have a notebook with me where I would jot down notes throughout the day of the things that I need to get done. And then at the end of the day and at the beginning of every single day, what I would do is I would sit down and categorize all of those tasks into a system. So my system was, first of all, I would categorize them into important and not important, and urgent and not urgent tasks. So this would divide up the space into 4 quadrants of something that is important and urgent. These are the things that you should do today. Then there would be things that are important but not urgent, and those are the things that you should schedule in your calendar. Then you have another quadrant which is not important but urgent. These are the tasks that you should delegate to other people. And then lastly, there would be a quadrant which is not important and not urgent. This is something that you will not do today, or only do if you don't have anything else to do, but overall they're not important and not urgent, so you might not want to do them at all. Then I would input all of these things into my online calendar, as I said, schedule the things, and also if there are things that need to be done later, I would put them in my Todoist. So Todoist is a software that I really like to track my to-dos with, because it helps you, and I think the most powerful thing in there is the natural language processing. So you might be able to type do the laundry in 2 days, or remind me to do something in 5 days time. And you can write it out in text, and that will automatically give you the date, and every single day it will give you back the list of things that you need to do that day. And this was the system that helped me get through the really intense engineering course at Oxford, while also building a team of 90 students to design, build and test Oxford's first Formula student car. So with this, I was able to do everything that I wanted with priorities, and also be able to submit all of my assignments when it was due. So I really recommend that you try out this method of combining Todoist, a physical or digital note, and your online calendar to be able to track all of the things that you need to do, and to be able to schedule all of the things that need to get done that might take a longer time. Now, moving on, my tip number 4 is to use the Pomodoro technique to study or to do these different tasks. So what is the Pomodoro technique? A Pomodoro technique is a technique when you have intense bursts of concentration for 20 minutes. So you work for 20 minutes and then you have 5 minutes or 15 minutes of rest time. This is a very, very good system because it allows you to really segment your time so you don't overflow. And it also really helps you to be able to concentrate while also have yourself a bit of time to relax without thinking that, oh my God, I should be doing work right now. So with the Pomodoro technique, what I really, really like is that you can schedule your tasks to fit within those 20 minutes, because as we all know, the task expands to take up as much time as we allow it to. So with allowing it only 20 minutes, you're able to get things done much more quickly, and it's much easier for you to be able to concentrate for 20 minutes only, rather than to sit down and think that you have to concentrate for a couple of hours without any breaks. So my first Pomodoro of the day would usually consist of me trying to get through all of the different things that I need to do that day, organizing my day, trying to schedule things, trying to make sure that I know what I will do during the next Pomodoros. And then usually I will schedule one Pomodoro for one big task, or one Pomodoro for a lot of different small tasks that I need to get done throughout the day. I like to get through all of these different small things first, because I am someone who gets bugged by having a really long to-do list. But then again, it's really important that you only allow 1 or 2 Pomodoros to be taken up by those admin things, and you really focus on doing the most important things before you actually get tired. It's really, really good because I found that during the 5 minutes, I can go get myself a cup of tea or get myself refreshed, or just organize things around the room to make sure that I feel refreshed for the next Pomodoro. And it's really good for me because I don't feel guilty when I do that, because I know this is a time for me to recuperate and make sure that I have enough energy for the next Pomodoro session, which is again 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So I really recommend that you try this out, see if it works for you. A lot of people have sworn by this method, and they can really get things done much more quickly and efficiently using the Pomodoro technique. And then my next tip is to use multitasking cautiously and sparingly. A lot of people say that multitasking is really good because you can do a lot of things at once, but very often what's happening is that your brain is actually juggling between a lot of different tasks, and it's not actually doing things at once. So with switching between tasks, it takes up a lot of time for your brain to be able to focus on one thing again. So what I would say is, don't try to do that. Focus on one thing at once, and then you will be able to do that much more efficiently and quickly if you don't switch between tasks. Yes, there are things that you can do with multitasking, which I find really good. For example, if you're walking somewhere, you might listen to a podcast, or if you're doing housework, you might listen to the news. So things like that you can do at once, because none of those take up a lot of attention. So I would encourage you to try to only use multitasking in those cases where you don't have to focus intensely to produce something or to read something, understand something new. So I really hope that these tips helped you to manage your time more efficiently. Check out these 2 videos for more information on productivity and university life, and make sure to like this video to show your support. Make sure to comment below if you have any other questions about time management or productivity in university, and check out my Facebook page where I will be giving you more tips on productivity, career tips, and university life. Bye guys, see you guys in the next video.